What's going on, guys? In this video, I've got 5 very specific Middle Eastern fragrances that are inspired by others or direct clones of others, but one thing that they all have in common is that they are absolute beasts on my skin. We're talking fantastic projection and extreme longevity, and all of these are at a pretty affordable price. Some cheaper than others, but literally the most expensive one here I paid $60 for, which is still quite affordable, especially for what you get. I want to talk to you guys about them, so stay tuned. Starting with the one that I find to have the best quality smell to it. This is a nuclear performer. It is absurd sillage and longevity. Projection's heavy in the first few hours. We are talking about Afnan's Supremacy. Not only intense, kind of known as a bit of a hybrid of Creed Invictus and Hachivat from Nuit because it's got so much oak moss in it. There's no pineapple here. It does have a bit of fruitiness to it, but it is just such a beautiful fragrance. If you're a fan of blackcurrant or anything about the blackcurrant smell, tart, bitter fruitiness, darkness to it, a little bit inky. Oh man, this is such a beautiful scent. And like I said, it's a dense, thick extrait de parfum type of aroma. It's thick, high oil concentration. So the cloud is as such. It smells on the thicker side. It's much more rich. And like I said in this video, I find this to be the highest quality smelling fragrance of the 5. Absolutely beautiful. You can find this one in the $45 range here in the US from discounters online. Last I checked, Kingdom Fragrances had this in stock for $44.95, I want to say. Oh, just such a beautiful fragrance. I can keep smelling and smelling and smelling. Not one-to-one with Nuit Hachivat, not one-to-one with Creed Invictus. It will remind you of both. It has elements of both, which kind of make it its own twist on the two. If I was to just pick one in this video, it'd be hard-pressed to find reasons not to pick this one, even though there's others I wear more. It's a pretty damn good fragrance. Check this one out if you haven't yet. If you're looking for a fantastic quality monster, Afnan Supremacy, not only intense. This next one I'll go ahead and say is better than the original that it's basically cloning. It's, again, not one-to-one, but it's pretty close. Very fruity, sweet, spicy, but such a monster in performance, and it's actually higher quality than what it's cloning. It's cloning Jean-Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male. We're talking about Afnan's 9 p.m. We're right back to Afnan. Afnan puts out some stellar fragrances. Such a good fragrance, Jesus. And you can find this one pretty cheap. Sometimes you can find it right around 30 bucks. In that $30 to $50 range is what you can expect, typically $30 to $40. Oh, beautiful vanilla, a lot of spiciness and warmth. Very cozy, but very fruity sweet at the top. Much more fruity sweet at the top than Ultra Male. Ultra Male is known for the juicy pear note. Here you have some fruity apple smell that replaces it, which is kind of what makes it not exactly a direct clone. But that's definitely what they were going for. They were going for Ultra Male, but this one, like I said, the quality. It's not near as synthetic as Jean-Paul Gaultier Ultra Male. Don't get me wrong, love Ultra Male, but I would take this 10 times out of 10 over it because it is a superior fragrance in so many ways to me. Oh, just another one that's so easy to sniff on. Nuclear performer, over 12 hours easily, and this is very heavy. You don't need a lot of sprays. This is a 3, 4, 5 spray max type of fragrance for me personally, and you're damn near filling a room at 5 sprays. If you really want to fill the room, obviously you can spray it a few more times. Depending on your skin chemistry, 3 or 4 sprays might fill a room for you. You don't know until you spray it on your skin and go through the process of the experience. But man, this is some really, really good stuff. If you like sweeter fragrances, this is the one. If you don't like sweeter fragrances, it might be too much and cloying because it's extremely strong. But it's definitely worth checking out if you're looking for an affordable beast from a great Middle Eastern company like Afnan. Check out 9 p.m. Next is a well-known compliment beast in its own right. This is one of the newer bottles. It's from earlier this year in 2022. I think it was February. 2022 was the manufacture date. I know people are going to ask. I'm not going through every batch code on here, guys. But this is Rasasi Hawas. Absolute hype beast for many years now, and well-deserved. I mean, the quality, the cap, the juice. It's on the more synthetic side. as far as the rest of these are concerned. But man, it's basically spicy Invictus. Got a lot of cardamom here. It's almost got a little bit of an incensey type of quality on my skin, even though there's nothing smoky about the note breakdown. But it has that beautiful, mass-appealing, sweet aquatic tone that Paco Rabanne's Invictus is known for. More so Invictus than Invictus Aqua. I know a lot of people like to compare this to the old 2016 version of Invictus Aqua. I think this is closer to actual Invictus, hence even down to the color of the juice. I mean, that's the color of Invictus's juice. It's much sweeter than the Aqua Flanker. And the biggest difference here that gives that little slight Middle Eastern touch is all of the spice. There's a warm spice while not taking away from any of that aquatic fresh tone. Even though there's not really much on the aquatic notes, it gives that feeling, like I said, that Invictus vibe. When I got this one, I got it on Amazon from a seller called Intense Oud, which you can get a lot of great Middle Eastern fragrances for great prices from them. This was 45 bucks. Prices have since gone up, so kind of shop around. You can still find it in the $50, $60 range. You just have to look, but I've seen it go up quite a bit in a lot of places. It's kind of absurd how much this has jumped up. I don't know if it's due to hype or what, but you know, you can still find it out there for a decent price. I wouldn't go paying $90, $100 for this. Absolutely not, especially if you're patient. You can find it closer to what I paid. But man, performance, easy 10 to 12 hours, easy, and very loud. This is one that I actually dialed it back from 5 sprays to 4 because my sillage was just so ridiculous and massive that it was almost a little too much for me at 5 sprays for me personally as the wearer. That's how strong this particular batch and this particular bottle reacts on my skin. So, a glorified hype beast that's a beast mode fragrance. Rasasi Hawas. Next up, we're going to the House of Armaf, and this is the one that I wear the most of these 5. It's just so good to me. Projection is pretty heavy, not quite as heavy as the Eau de Toilette, but the sillage is thick. It's a thick aroma, and then the performance as far as longevity is all day and then some. With Armaf, Club de Nuit Intense Man, limited edition Parfum. I'm a huge fan of this fragrance. I did a video recently where I said it was my #1 fragrance for fall because it's the fall fragrance I've been wearing the most this year. I love this. If you were ever a fan of the lemon in the Eau de Toilette, that harshness is gone. It's still a sharp candied lemon, but it's so much smoother and richer overall. Just a delight to smell. My wife is a huge fan of this one. As am I. You see every few words I have to go back to sniffing. Such a good fragrance. This is on the higher price side in this video. Like I said, I paid 60 bucks for this one. This is the one I paid the most money for of these 5. Absolutely worth it. It's dark, it's smoky, it's fruity. Oh, it's so good. It's got that clean musk, little bit of sweetness, but not a very sweet fragrance. Yes, it's still on the synthetic side, as are all of the fragrances in this line, but it's way better than the EDT in my opinion. It costs double the price. You can get the EDT for around 30 bucks from Discounters Online, but you're looking at 60 from Discounters Online for this, and I'm sorry, in my mind, in my opinion, this is a superior fragrance across the board in every category. Even though it's not quite as heavy of a projector, just give it an extra spray or two. Trust me, the scent bubble on this one is very, very large. Beautiful fragrance. Again, not a 1-to-1 copy of Creed Aventus because of that lemon, because there's a few notes different in here. It's kind of a twist on Aventus, if you will, and one that I absolutely adore. So I'm off. Club de Nuit Intense Man, limited edition Parfum. Last but not least is one that may surprise you. It's much more synthetic, sweet, and floral than you may think. But it's amazing out in the air, and performance is bananas. We're going back to Rasasi with Nafaeis al Shaghaf. This fragrance, I forgot what I paid. It was under $40 for sure from FragranceNet. Sprayer's outrageous. It'll give you Invictus vibes because of the color scheme and the gradients to the bottle. And look, a little bit of Invictus Aqua Touch, but not really. Maybe 20%. Wow. I forgot how heavy of a projection this thing is, because even off the paper, it's filling the area. None of the other 4 have the projection impact that this one does when you first spray it. This is the heaviest projecting fragrance in this video. Oh, but it's lovely. Fruity sweet. And then it gets much more creamy sweet as it dries. It does have a bit of this ozonic aquatic feel to it, even though it's kind of like walking through a garden in many ways. There's a lot of florals here. Very unisex fragrance. Sharp and synthetic, so it may not be for everyone, but if you can get some sprays that aren't directly in front of you to where you're just nonstop smelling yourself, because trust me, if you spray one spray behind your neck, you're still going to smell yourself very easily. This is extremely strong. Out in the air, the trail that lingers with this one, you'll be surprised at the impact it will have on people, because it's not a familiar smell. If you're big into fragrances, you can find similarities and nuances from different fragrances. Like I said, a little touch of Invictus Aqua here, but overall, a different fragrance completely. Like I said, it's like walking through a garden in a beach town. You get the beach vibe, but more of a garden aspect to it, because there's a variety of florals here. Tropical, fruity, sweet tone. It's just such a good fragrance that's very underrated, very affordable, and outrageous performance. As you can see with all 5 of these, I can just keep smelling them and smelling them. I love them all. They're so good. That's why I wanted to talk to you about them today. Get your nose on this one. I don't know how easy it would be to sample. You may have to roll the dice and blind buy a bottle, and that's definitely a risky play with this particular fragrance because it's so synthetic. Probably the most synthetic, even more synthetic than Hawas. It is, but I'll tell you what, it might be that missing piece from your collection. Again, that's Rasasi Nafaeis al Shaghaf. Well, that's the 5 that I have for you today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback. And I love hearing from you guys. What of these 5 have you tried before, or do you own? And what do you think about them? Very curious of your opinion down in the comments. And did any of these spark your interest where you feel like, you know what, I need to try those? Because that's become much more of a popular topic here in the community these days, is these more affordable, ridiculous performing Middle Eastern branded fragrances. And there's definitely some good stuff out there. There's a ton of stuff I haven't gotten my nose on that I know you guys are going to line up to make comments if you need to try this, Latafa this, and so on and that. I get it, guys. I'll get there eventually. Don't get me wrong. But until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these 5 and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.